It's impossible to play at a high level if the game feels rushed. If you get onto the basketball court and your head is spinning, you feel overwhelmed, and all you can do is fight as hard as you can just to keep up. Right now, I'm going to show you exactly how you can slow the game down, finally feel in control, and not just keep up, but get ahead when you're on the court. Before we dive into that, I have a free 28-day Basketball IQ email course down below. It's going to touch on a lot of things that we're going to go through today. If you're interested in that, make sure you check it out. We've gotten some great reviews on it already. Like I said, completely free. Link in the description down below. In case you don't know who this guy is right here, his name is Phil Jackson, and he's one of the most legendary basketball coaches of all time. He won 11 championships with the Lakers and with the Chicago Bulls, which is more than any other coach in NBA history, and he also won 2 titles when he was a player with the New York Knicks. Now, what made him unique and what makes him legendary isn't just how successful he was, but it was the way that he did things. His nickname was the Zen Master because he used techniques like Zen philosophy, mindfulness, and different Native American practices in order to coach his players. We think of players like Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant, and we think of the mental dominance that they displayed on the court. A lot of that had to do with the way that Phil Jackson helped instill those mental qualities into them. And it's a big reason why they were able to slow the game down, trust their instincts, and play with supreme confidence. Right now, I'm going to go through 3 of these principles that Phil Jackson used with his players, that I've used with players that I've coached. And these 3 things are going to help you to not only slow the game down and stop feeling rushed, it's also going to help you to play with more confidence, and above all, it's going to allow you to go out and not overthink, just play. That takes us into our first key, which is presence or mindfulness. Something that Phil Jackson did with his players all the time was he introduced meditation, and he made it a huge routine of theirs. They would come in for practice, and they would sit on the court with all the lights out and just be able to meditate and be in the moment. Ultimately, if you want to be a great basketball player, your ability to stay in the present moment is one of the most important things ever, and when you feel like you're anxious about the past, you're worried about mistakes that you made, you're worried about what could happen, you're worried about messing up the next time you touch the basketball, you're not in the present moment. Something that I always say to my players is that the most successful players are the ones who can be in the present moment as close to 100% of the time as possible. If you're spending 50% of your time worried about what just happened, you're really going to struggle to be consistent and play at the level that you're capable of. Now, one of the best ways that you can apply this to your game right now is by giving yourself what's called a reset phrase. This is just something that you can say to yourself in a game that gets you back and focused on the present moment. So let's say, for example, you've missed your first 3 shots to start the game, and then you turn the ball over. And everything in your mind wants to focus on how frustrated you are about those mistakes. What could happen if you make another mistake? Are you going to get benched? Is someone going to be upset with you? How do you look to the crowd? Instead of falling into that trap, you give yourself that reset phrase that helps you to get back to focusing on what you can control, which is the present moment. A great one I like to use is just next play. So you find yourself overwhelmed by what's happened, what could happen, your nerves, whatever. Reminding yourself next play, or be right here, or present moment. Something you can say quickly to yourself to snap you out of whatever it is you're thinking about and get you back to focusing on how can I be the best I can possibly be in this possession right now. And that sounds so simple, but there's so many players who just don't do this. And because of that, like I said, they're not in the present moment nearly as much as they need to be. So the first big takeaway is that you need to be in the present moment as much as you possibly can. And when you can do that, it gives you the best opportunity to impact the game. So using that reset phrase as a way to get yourself out of worrying about the past or worrying about the future is the first way that you make the game slow down and allow yourself to play with way more confidence and freedom. The second principle that Phil Jackson used to help his players slow the game down and play at the highest level possible is a principle called Mushin. Now in Zen, Mushin means no mind or no thinking or no overthinking. And this is a huge thing that so many players struggle with. I as a player struggle with overthinking a ton. I was worried about, is this the right decision? And I second guess myself. It would lead to me hesitating. And as a coach, now I see that hesitation, overthinking, second-guessing yourself is the biggest killer of basketball players. Phil Jackson put so much emphasis for his teams on trusting their offense, trusting what they would call the triangle offense, and not overthinking things, but being able to rely back on the amount of time that they had spent practicing on not just the offense, but on their skills. This allowed players like Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan to just let instincts take over. Now, for you as a player, this is where I think that studying the game, becoming a master, becoming an expert at basketball is so important, and a lot of players don't do it. You might go into games and you're second guessing, you're hesitating, you're not sure of what to do, and it's because you haven't put in the amount of time or the amount of reps you need mentally to know, what do I do when I catch the ball? What do I do when my defender rotates like that? What do I do when I see a defender who closes out to my high side? What do I do whenever I see a double team? And you get into the game and you've never experienced it. You've never mastered the understanding of what goes into it. And so because of that, it's going to be tough for you to be able to just play and use your instincts so you haven't developed them yet. This is why it's so important to actually study the game, learn the terminology, learn the different actions and concepts, become a master at them. And when you do that, it's going to allow you to go out there and just react and just play off of your instincts and not worry about thinking too hard about anything. Now, I already mentioned it earlier, but this is where my free 28-day Basketball IQ emo course is so huge, because it's completely devoted to helping you master the game, learn the actions, the concepts, the different situations that you need to understand if you want to go out and not have to overthink, not have to second guess, but just be able to go out and play with instincts as you know exactly what to do. Of course, you want to make sure that your training is on point and you're putting in the work on the court, but you also want to make sure you don't neglect the other side, the mental side, the IQ, the decision-making aspect of the game, because that's going to allow you to truly be in that present moment and to truly embody Mushin, or the art of not overthinking or no thought, every time you step on the court. And when you can do that, the game is going to slow down because you know that you're going to be prepared for it. Now, the third principle that's going to help you to slow the game down, finally take control over things, and play with confidence and freedom is detaching yourself from the outcome. This is something that I struggle with big time. So much of my identity was wrapped up in how well did I play today? And when you put all that pressure on yourself to play well, it takes basketball from being what should be fun to something that is almost life or death for you. We don't want it to be that way. Phil Jackson constantly reminded his players to not place all of their identity, to not place everything based on the outcome of a game, because you don't always have full control over what the outcome is. Instead, trust completely in the process. So putting in your work on the court, but also putting in your work when it comes to developing your minds. And then because you've put in that work, being able to go out and just play, just be in the present moment, react to what's in front of you, not worry about what's happened in the past or what could happen in the future. And that's truly when you play with a sense of freedom and confidence. Most players go into games hoping that things work out for them. They hope that they play well. They hope that they make shots. They hope that they get the ball a lot. And they're just kind of aimlessly floating around. And if that's you, then you're probably going to feel really overwhelmed in games because you're not tethered to anything. You don't actually have a goal or a focus. But the players who are going out and they're focused on hunting for what they want and looking for the opportunities that they can take advantage of now have a sense of control. They have a sense of freedom because they understand exactly what's important, what's not important, and it allows them to focus on only specific things, and that is how you slow the game down. So if you want to slow the game down for yourself, like I said, it's not just about the reps you're putting in practice. That stuff obviously matters, but it's also about the way that you see the game. It's about your mindset and your approach. Are you able to stay in the present moment as close to 100% of the time? And if you can embody those things, if you can become that person, everything will change for you. Like I said, check out that free 28-day course down below. Drop a comment down below if you got anything from this. I really appreciate hearing from you. Talk soon. Peace.